Hello, today we're going to be looking at compound interest again, and this time I'm going to show you how to use the formula. So just a reminder from the last lesson, so compound interest is when the interest is added onto the principal before the next calculation. So your interest is earning interest, which means over time you'll earn more and more interest on your investment or your loan. Alrighty, here is the compound interest formula. Now it looks a little complicated, but you'll notice 3 of the letters are exactly the same as the simple interest formula. So let's break this down. First of all, capital A just refers to the total amount. It's how much money you have at the very end after we've done all the calculations. P stands for principal. It's how much you invest or borrow in the account. R is the rate, and again, even though it's a percentage, we write it as a decimal, 0 point something. N is the number of times it's compounded per year. Now this is a new letter that we haven't seen before, and I don't want you to stress or freak out about it. Just for today, we're always going to leave it as 1, okay? We're just going to leave it as the number 1, but I will explain it in more detail in future videos. And finally, T is time in the number of years. And yeah, so for this lesson, we're only going to do annual compounding to make it nice and simple, so we'll always have N equals 1 for today. Alrighty, let me show you how to use this formula. So first of all, George invests $1,000 in his bank account at a compound interest rate of 5% per annum, compounded annually for 4 years. How much will George have in his bank account after 4 years? So let's get up our formula. Now I've color coded it to make it a little easy to understand, but hopefully we can get our head around this. So we've got 5 letters we're trying to find this time. First of all, we don't know the total amount at the end. That's our missing variable. But we know the principal is 1,000. We know the rate's going to be 0.05. Compounded annually means once per year, like I said before. So we're just going to use N equals 1. And finally, T was 4 years. So if we substitute these numbers into our formula, it looks like this. Now, if you have a calculator, you can just type this in exactly as it is and you'll get the answer. If you want to keep going though, you can simplify it a bit more. So the 1 plus 0.05 over 1 is just 1.05. 1 times 4 is 4, so it's 1.05 to the power of 4 times by 1,000. And this ends up being $1,215.51. So that's how much George has in his bank account. So even though this formula looks a little scary at first, it's pretty much the same process. We're just substituting in the numbers we know into the formula, and you can type it all in one go on your calculator, or you can simplify it if you want. Either way, you should get the right answer. Just want to quickly remind you of this table that we looked at in the last video, and we worked through the table step by step and we got towards the end, and we eventually, after we did all our interest calculations, adding it on, we got to this number here, $2,431.01. Now, even though that was easy to understand, it took a long time to get there. But the cool thing with this formula is if we just substitute the same values, the 2,000, the 5%, and the 4 years, and because we're talking about compound interest annually, if we substitute all these numbers into the formula, we'll get the exact same answer. So instead of creating a table for any problem you have to do, all you have to use is this handy dandy formula. So the principal was 2,000, the rate was 0.05, compounding was annual, and it was 4 years, and we got the exact same answer. So the formula is really useful for jumping ahead and finding a future value. Alrighty, here's a question I'd love you to try. So Hayden borrows $4,000 from the bank to build a gaming computer. The bank charges a compound interest rate of 7.5% per year, compounded annually for 3 years. How much will Hayden have to repay at the end of the loan? I'll give you the formula, but if you could pause the video, give it a go, and try to work out the values, that'd be awesome. Alrighty, let's go through it. So first of all, we don't know the total, so that's what we're trying to find. We know the principal was 4,000, the rate was 0.075 as a decimal, we're compounding once per year, so it's annual, and we're doing it for 3 years in total. So if we substitute those numbers in, we'll get our answer. Now, again, you can type that straight on your calculator. It'll spit out the answer. Otherwise, if you want to simplify it, you can. It's all good. And we end up with $4,969.19. So Hayden now owes the bank $4,969.19 in total. Okie dokie, hopefully that makes sense. So compound interest is just a different type of interest, and hopefully the formula makes a little more sense now that you've seen it. We're going to be doing some more compound interest in future videos, but if you have any questions, let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.